like, I mean, it's an inspiring story because Ryan Hall is such an amazing runner, and he has had so many milestones that he has reached, but he also has had so many troubles that he's reached, but he overcame those to have probably 10 years of amazing running. So I was really inspired by the story. Once again, link down. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the video. So before we jump into today's video, I'd like to say I hope you enjoyed the last video with you guys about Fudgicle Week 7, I think it was. That was the last official Fudgicle, so that means we get our awards this week for being frozen runners because we ran. Or I told you guys in that video I got the awards, and I showed you guys the awards when we were running. Or I think I showed you guys the award. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I showed you guys the awards and told you guys about it. But we actually got our awards this week for being frozen runners, which means you went to every single Fudgicle in person. So we actually got frozen solid runners glove. We actually got gloves for that. That's frozen solid runners on them, I think. I'm filming this video a few weeks in advance, so I don't quite know. I have not had Fudgicle Week 7 happen yet, so I'm just kind of predicting what's already happened. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say for my thoughts, my feelings, how I felt, my pace, my time was before, during, and after the race. And overall, I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, that's probably going to wrap it up for this first block of the intro. And now let's go into our second block of the intro, the topic for today's video. So in today's video, this is a video that I've been meaning to make for a long time. It's a book recap I've been telling you guys I wanted to make for a long time. It is about Ryan Hall, the American record holder in the half marathon, his book, Run the Mile You're In. So once again, you guys have probably heard that I've been wanting to do this book recap for a while now. The last book recap I did for you guys was Lou, and that was probably back in November, I think, either November or December, but a couple months ago. So I haven't had book recaps for a long time, but I'm really excited to review this book for you guys today. And in my opinion, I found it really fun to read and to witness all the adventures that Ryan Hall had as an Olympic runner. He was actually a two-time Olympian. He was also a pro runner for Nike, and he was a amazing all-around athlete. He still holds the American record for the men over the half marathon. So he is a very impressive and inspiring athlete. So basically, we'll be discussing about his book. Basically, the book goes when he was 15 years old, and he had the ambition to run 15 miles around a lake called Big Bear Lake in his hometown of Mammoth Lakes. I can't remember the state, but I think it was Colorado or something like that. But it was Mammoth Lakes, or maybe it was Mammoth Lake, Washington. I have no idea. I forget. But he ran around this big lake called Big Bear Lake, and he ran 15 miles around it, and that was the first step, all the way up until the last step he had of the World Marathon Challenge, which is actually a challenge that you run one marathon in 24 hours every single day for 7 days. So we will be talking about both those events and everything else in between. You guys, so that's probably gonna do it up for this intro of the video. And now let's move into our first block. Let's move into our first block of the video, reviewing the book. Alright guys, in this first block of the video, we're going to be reviewing, as I told you guys in the last block, Ryan Hall's book or biography that he wrote himself, Run the Mile You're In. If you guys are interested in this book, I am leaving a link down in the description to Amazon so you guys can buy this book. But once again, with most of the books I tell you guys about, you can buy them off Amazon, any online website typically that sells books or running books type thing. Typically you can go to some running websites and find them. You can go to your local library and typically find them. So you can find a lot of my books anywhere, or a lot of the books I recap anywhere. But in this one particular, you can probably find it at libraries and online shopping websites and a lot of different places. So let's get straight into it. So to start off, Ryan Hall did not start off running. He didn't have the ambition to become a pro runner. He had the ambition to become a professional baseball player. So when he was 15 years old, he was he does a lot of he is very connected to he is very religious and connected to God. So he talks about a lot of his book how God guided him throughout his journey, on his running journey, and basically helped him accomplish everything he's accomplished. But yeah, I mean, so basically he was 15 years old and he was riding in a van with like 10 or 15 other baseball teams, I think or 10 or 15 other of his baseball teammates. And he was looking out the window and he said, I felt this ambition to run 15 miles around Big Bear Lake, which was the lake, once again, that his home was on. So it was 15 miles from his home all the way around the lake back to his home. And he thought to himself, as he was riding in that van, I might want to become a professional runner one day. So he went to the baseball game, came back, and he basically told his dad, I want to go out and I want to run 15 miles around Big Bear Lake. Now, he did this with no training. I would never suggest doing this with no training. It's not a good idea because you can easily get hurt from this. If you guys haven't watched my video on how to build healthy mileage, I will link down below. But I even said you shouldn't do a 10K without much training. Forget 15 miles. So if you're going to do 15 miles, I would do it like when you're trained for it and when you feel like you're ready for it. But yeah, so he basically told his dad, I want to go out with you and I want to run 15 miles around Big Bear Lake. Him and his dad did it. And he even said in the book, like, he basically said, like, 4 miles in, he ran in basketball shoes. And for all of you who know what running feels like, basketball shoes are not the shoes you want to run in. So basically, he said he got blisters, he got cramps, he had to stop numerous times. Sometimes he stopped once at the store to get Gatorade because he was so dehydrated. He had to numb his feet a little bit in the cold lake because they were so blistered. But he finally got through all the torture and pain, and he got home and he basically said, all right, I find this a runner's struggle, and it's the struggle that most runners face when they get home. Couch or fridge? What he means by that is, do you want to rest or do you want to replace the calories you lost from 15 miles of running? He ultimately went for the couch, which I would assume because you ran 15 miles with no training, I wouldn't advise that. So you probably went for the couch. But I mean, after that, he kind of adopted the joy for running. By that point, as he got older and he went into high school, farther into high school, he basically said, his dad was the track coach and the cross country coach, I think, at the high school. So he worked with his dad for many years. Then he got into college, and he actually ran at Stanford. That's one of the best colleges. That's one of the best athletic and academic, I think, colleges in the country for anyone. So that was really impressive that he got in there. And I mean, he said even like, as a freshman, he didn't run really good. He started off in cross country. He won some, I actually don't think he won any meets as a freshman. And when he got to a sophomore, he won a few mini meets at the beginning of the year. But after that, he kind of lost his confidence because he got to the point where, like, he wasn't really, he kind of lost his confidence because he won those mini meets, but then didn't win any bigger meets. And he said his dream in college was to win the NCAA cross country championships or an NCAA title, which is extremely hard to meet. And most people don't do that when they're in college. Not even most. A lot of people will never even get the chance to do that when they're in college. So yeah, basically he said he competed in his sophomore and junior year. And then he did fine. I mean, he finished, I think, 115th, probably both years between that benchmark. And then when he got to a senior, this was something very and then when he became a senior in college, this was something very unexpected that I didn't know that was coming. He basically said that he was going to go and he was going to leave college, so he's not going to have a coach anymore, and he's going to go with God and do faith-based training. Basically meaning God is going to guide him. God is going to make his workouts. God is going to help him reach his potential. And I thought that was kind of, it was kind of surprising to me because one of the greatest American marathoner, probably the greatest American marathoner ever, it's funny how he basically just wanted to abandon his coach and basically said, I'm going to go do the training on my own. And I'm going to have God guide me in that training. And I'm going to have his religious faith meet my standards and my goals. He basically said for the first 3 months, it was perfect. And then he started to think oh, is this really going to work or not? He was kind of doubting himself because he was thinking oh, I have to do all these huge workouts to meet my potential. And I have to do all these big things to meet my potential. And it was just a lot of stuff that it wasn't true, but he believed that it was true because he thought he had to do all these all this crazy stuff to be able to meet this stuff. By the way, I forgot to mention that his wife is Sarah Hall, and he actually met her at a Foot Locker National Championship when he basically said throughout his entire career he wasn't the best person when he lost. I can definitely feel this feeling. He was basically, when he lost, he got super angry and all this kind of stuff. And he met Sarah because she was running a national. She was actually, I think she was the greatest miler in the country or something. Maybe, no, I think she was like the best 5K runner in the country at a meet. And he met her. And then all the way, we're here. And long story short, they're now together and everything else. And yeah, so after this, basically, training kind of went up and down for him. I think he ran Boston in 2011, he said, and he said he tried to push the pace and everything, and he said he wanted to get out there and show himself what he could do, and he only ended up coming in, I think like 10th or something, not even top 10. And then you get to Actually, no. Boston 2011, sorry. That's wrong. Boston 2011, he actually ran the American record, and he said he thought, face-based training was one of the greatest things he ever did, and he was so happy he did it. Fast forward to the Olympic Games in 2012, and we're here on the starting line with the past 2 years he's basically saying, like, the past 2 years didn't really go that well. The past 2 years was basically me trying to keep myself from fatiguing and doing all this stuff to my body that I shouldn't be doing and all this other stuff. So he basically said, like, he had a slew of injuries over the past 2 years. He was fatiguing. He was getting tight all the time. And he was so zoned in at the 2012 I'll go back to the 2008 Olympics after the 2012 Olympics, but he basically said he was so zoned out at the 2012 Olympics. He got to the starting line, and he basically said, like, he had, like, masking tape all over his legs and everything else, and he ran the race, and by 6 miles, he had to drop out of the race, and he said it was the most devastating thing ever because it was the first time he had ever dropped out of a marathon in his entire career. So, no, not even a marathon. The first time he'd ever dropped out of a race in his entire life. So he was devastated by it. And then if you compare that to 4 years earlier in Beijing, at the Beijing Olympics, he was saying he was so zoned in, his routine was so amazing, and he ran so, I think he came in like fifth, between like 5th and 10th or something like that, maybe like 8th. But he said it was amazing in the 2008 Olympics, and 2012 was just so much different. And then you get to the point where he's running 2013 Boston. And he runs 2013 Boston, and basically he's texting him and Meb Keflezighi, who he actually has a book as well. I'm going to read his book soon enough, and I can review that one for you guys. But basically, him and Meb Keflezighi, he was texting Meb as he was, like, injured on his couch and just getting a massage, and it was like, hey, and it was like, no, not 2013, 2014, sorry. That was the year, actually, Meb won the Boston Marathon. And he was basically saying, like, it was right after the bombings happened. He had landed, he had just heard the news, and he's like, we're going to go out and run the Boston Marathon that next year, and we're going to show America what it's meant to be. And Meb was like, yes, we're going to do that. Fast forward to the 2014 Boston Marathon, and Meb is cruising. Meb is halfway through the race. He's at 10 miles, and he's already probably have a 5-second lead on the entire field. Ryan Hall, who is not there, is leading the chase pack. Run down another probably 10 miles, and he's now in no man's land at the middle of the chase pack in, like, the third pack of people. So he basically said he finished that race, and he was so happy for Meb, but he was so disappointed for himself. You get to 2016, and he's sitting, this is a month before the Olympic trials. Ryan Hall is sitting on his couch, and he's thinking to himself, my body has gotten me so injured over the past, 8-10 years. It's given me everything I got. It's given me 2 Olympic teams. It's given me American records. It's given me everything. Am I done or am I not? Overall, he finally decided that he's done. He doesn't have anything left. He has nothing to show. He has nothing left, and it's all done for him. And basically, he said a month before the Olympic trials, he was devastated. He announced his retirement. He then said for the next 5 years, he had gone into powerlifting. And one day when he was sitting on his couch, after he had probably just done a workout or something like that, powerlifting means like he got into the weightlifting. So he had gone into building muscle and everything else. He didn't look like a runner at all. And he finally got into it. He finally got a text from his friend who was actually a priest at a local church in their area. I think it was like Southern California or something like that. And he said, "Do you want to go run the World Marathon Challenge with me?" Now, granted, Ryan Hall had not run for 5 years. He had barely run any miles. The only miles he had run were easy miles that he was accompanying his wife, Sarah Hall, on, who was still running professionally. But he basically said, like, he hasn't run for 5 years and he has nothing to show for it. And after he got that text message, he thought for a split second and thought, all right, let's get back to it. 3 months later, he's trained so hard and now he's fatigued again. And this is about a year out from the challenge. And I'm not going to tell you guys what happened after that. He got a few more fatigues, and then he finally got to the challenge, and he got to Antarctica, and he basically said, Antarctica is where they started. He basically said, he went for his run. They couldn't leave the base camp because if they did leave the base camp and just went somewhere, they would get lost. So he basically said, like, he was doing like a 6-mile run every single day. And then for his weightlifting, because he didn't want to give that up, he was running with, he was lifting like olive oil and pans and pots and pans. Anything he could find, he was lifting. And it was crazy. He was lifting like 1-pound bottles and 2-pound pans and everything else. And it was insane. He was doing pull-ups on like a cheap, like, $10 pull-up bar or something like that. And he was doing everything he could to get his weightlifting in. And he basically said for that first marathon, for actually his first 2 marathons, he was living off protein diet. He was dead. Because if any of you who have run marathons, carbs are key. Protein, no. Protein comes after. He wanted to keep up his muscle, so he kept injecting protein, and he was gone. So he basically said by 3rd marathon, he threw that protein thing out of the window and just started shoving in candies and donuts and cakes and everything else. And you would think to yourself, well, that's really unhealthy. Yeah, but he probably burned a few. I think he said he took 308,000 steps that week. That's probably what I take in about 3 weeks. Not even. That's probably what I take in about 3.5 weeks. And he took that in 1 week. And then he got to the final marathon, and he basically said, my dream one day was to put my running shoes on the marathon finish line, because this is what like boxers do when they have their last match. He wanted to put his shoes on the finish line, just walk away barefoot, and forget about the marathon forever. That's exactly what he did. He took off his ASICS running shoes that were beat up, raggedy, everything. He left them on the line, and he just walked away back to the plane in Sydney, Australia, barefoot. He actually said in his book, someone tweeted to him that on Twitter that someone actually found those shoes, which was funny to him because he would have thought like, oh my God, who would have ever found those shoes? But I mean, it's crazy because to think like, I mean, it's an inspiring story because Ryan Hall is such an amazing runner, and he has had so many milestones that he has reached, but he also had so many troubles that he's reached, but he overcame those to have, probably 10 years of amazing running. So I was really inspired by the story. Once again, link down in the description for Amazon, but you can also get it at local libraries, other sources, and everything else. You guys, so that's probably going to do it up for this first block of the video. And now let's move into our second and final block of the video, my rating of the book. Alright guys, the second final block of the video, we are going to be giving Ryan Hall's book, Run the Mile You're In. I'm going to be giving you guys my rating on it. So for this book, once again, as I told you guys in the last block, it's such a heartwarming story because Ryan Hall has had so many triumphs, but he has also had so many days where he hasn't had a triumph. He's had fatigue and he's had injuries, but he's overcome those to, make an amazing 10-year plus career of running. It's amazing to see Ryan Hall. Still today, he's one of the biggest power lifters that there is. I mean, he went from, you'll see videos, comparison videos, Ryan Hall, American marathon record holder, goes from runner to weightlifter. It's amazing because even though he's retired from running for now, it's been probably 7-8 years now, he's still one of the fittest humans on the face of the earth. So it's crazy because he has had such an amazing running career, but he's also kept his career going in weightlifting beyond that. So enough of my talking. I've talked for you guys for 15 minutes already, actually more than 15 minutes. I'm just going to give you my rating now. I'm going to rate this book in a completely honest 10 out of 10. This might be the best book I have rated so far. This book might deserve actually a 12 out of 10. That's how good this book was. It was an amazing story because I almost felt like I was there with him as I was reading the story. And I mean, you go from this young 15-year-old who has the ambitions and thoughts and motivation to run 15 miles to now this amazing, astonishing runner who is now one of the best power lifters in the nation. It's crazy because I just felt so heartwarming. I felt like I was there with him, and I felt like his adventures really sunk into me, and I learned so much from this book. So I'm going to give it an honest 10 out of 10 for Run the Mile You're In by Ryan Hall. Yeah, guys, so that's probably going to do it up for this second and final block of the video, and that's probably going to wrap it up for today's video. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed listening to me recap Run the Mile You're In by Ryan Hall for you guys. Once again, link down in the description for this book to Amazon, but once again, you can also get it at local library, other running sites, other book web stores, Barnes & Noble probably has it, and so many other websites and places that sell books. But once again, such a heartwarming story. This young kid goes from running, he goes from a running newbie to running masterclass, an American record holder, and two-time Olympian, to now one of the best powerlifters in the nation. So it's just insane how he has progressed. I really do suggest you guys read this book. This is probably the best one I have read so far. But once again, stick around because I am now reading a book called I'm reading a book about Haile Gebrselassie, who is an Ethiopian legend when it comes to 5,000 and when it comes to specifically 10,000 meter running, but also 5,000 meter running. He has won 2 Olympic gold medals, multiple world champion, and you guys will have to wait till the recap to see, or you can read the book. But I will be giving out that recap probably in the next few months. I just started the book, so it probably won't come out for a little while. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed Run the Mile You're In by Ryan Hall. Go check it out in the description. Link to Amazon. Yeah, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that. Stick around for this quote, and you guys are going to love it. And stick around for some more really, really great videos for you. I am going to be posting this week for you guys. I am on vacation this whole week. So it's going to be, actually, maybe that was last week. Again, I'm filming this a few weeks in advance. I think vacation was last week, but I think I am having some meet recaps go up this week for you guys. A ton of meet recaps. The last Fudgical is going up for you guys this week. The Choosem race, which is basically a Fudgical 5K relay, the relay version of the Fudgical. So stick around for that. And yeah, stick around for more great content, by me, from me, for you guys. Yeah, guys, that's probably gonna do it up for this this video. Have fun, keep running, enjoy life, and peace out, guys. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the video. Shoot, I messed up right away. Why?